What's up? I'm Jeff McDaniel. This is the Bible BOOTCAMP podcast, and I am joined here by,
Jessica.
and we launched our kind of inaugural one last week, but we want to do kind of episode two. This one, so part of this is this is going to cover a vast array of things, but sometimes we may talk about our actual Bible study within Bible BOOTCAMP. We might look at just some of the things going on in our own personal lives. But what we thought about we do today is a little bit of a review. We did like early on, probably, what did we say, like maybe week two. I say we, Jessica actually got for us, I mean, early on in when we were young kids, just starting off on this journey of dating, she got this, Your Dating Couples Devotional Book. It's by Robert Mary Johnson, and I guess you just find this randomly.
Yes, I found it on Amazon. Just random.
I mean, obviously she must have liked me a little bit to consider within 14 days doing a little devotional book with me. But it was good. And so it's all right. So real quick, we're gonna give a little review of this. And so if you have friends out there that are dating or engaged or something else, or even considering either one of those, this is something you could do. Like, okay, so let's just back up here. This couple, what's the biggest thing we noticed right off the bat? And you mentioned this on the very first one, because it is tell them about it's what's not on the title. Well, I guess it is. It's billed as what? A
52-week devotional.
Yeah, and you talked about right off the bat, like,
yeah, this is, I mean, we could do this in 52 days. Yeah. So.
And we kind of did.
And pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, these are short. Like, literally, we think it takes us maybe
5 minutes, probably. I mean, sometimes we would have longer discussions about certain topics, depending on the topic, I think. But I mean, it's just a quick devotional that you can do to do together daily, and it's just a really good habit to get into as a couple. So.
Yeah, I mean, and we talked about, like, okay, so, all right, so a lot of the people that's going to be listening to this are going to be married. Do you think someone who's married, has been married, let's go 5, 10, 15, 20 years, would they get anything from this?
From doing a devotional each day?
Well, this particular one here, this dating couples, I don't know. Like, I was thinking about this. Like, it is kind of a back to the basics, the nuts and bolts of your.
I think it might depend on like how early you are in your Christianity as a couple, even. I mean, because some of this stuff, if couples are just newly Christians, if they're young Christians, and there may be a lot in this book that they can benefit from, because it is a lot of basics. So um, if you're trying to build a foundation for your relationship, even if you've been married for 10 years, but you're newly Christians, new to the faith, then you definitely could pull some very important basic things out of this book to use in your marriage.
Yeah, so listen, we're not going to give this a rave review. Like, it's not whatever, like the five. It's probably not going to get a 5-star rating. It's good though. And one of the things I will say about this, and we kept bringing this up along the way, I think this is something good for whether you're dating, engaged, or you've been married 50 years. Do you remember the very first verse? We kept referencing back to it. Like, the whole book, the whole program opens up with, and I never remember the passages. I'm horrible with addresses.
1 Corinthians 13:4-7. Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no records of wrong. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always preserves.
I mean, you could just like close the book right there.
Right.
Like, anybody, I don't care what stage you're in. I mean, that honestly, I kept coming back to that. That is it, right? Like, and I think we were talking about how there's 5 different words in the Greek language around feelings that we all translate into love in the English language. Like, my love for pizza, you love dogs, we love God, we love each other. So there's so many different, we just kind of use that one word. But this right here, this is the ultimate in unconditional love. And I always think about like, yeah, if you are, and if you've been married 50 years, you got to go back. This is the nuts and bolts. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. And on and on. This is the selflessness, right? So I think if someone was doing this and they'd been married for a while, that is the big takeaway. Because let's be honest, like we're just selfish creatures, by our nature. And to go back and just kind of remind yourself of that. But okay, so let's do this right. What are some of the things? So let's back up here. I think if you're married, you could get some things out of this, but I think just stepping back, the concept, and this is what we've talked about. Like we wanted to do this, and by the way, like this is designed for 52 weeks. No way. We did it in basically. We tried to do it almost nightly,
Right.
and the goal was to actually do this nightly as we date. But down the road when we're married is to keep doing this.
Yes. With some
I,
capacity each day.
yeah. And I asked you last night about like, so we just wrapped this book up. All right. So what do we do each night?
Mm-hmm.
And keep in mind, like I live in Little Rock, she's in Star City. So a lot of these are like FaceTime devotionals. But, and what was I asked you?
Said three things. We could review the book that we are currently both reading,
Mm-hmm.
The God Ask,
Yep.
or we could talk about things that we're both doing in our devotionals each day, or we could find a new devotion.
Right.
But regardless, we need to do something each day because we have enjoyed this daily time together. I know I have.
Yeah. Yeah. And for me, it's like, okay, I am venturing into the great unknown here. This, this strange unknown universe that we shall call marriage. I don't know what it's like. I know about dating. I know about marriage. So I'm like, I told her, this is, and ideally, this is what you would do. No matter how busy the day is, even if it's like 3 minutes at the end of the evening, I mean, like you gotta come together in some form or fashion. And I was just asking her, like, do we need to have a formal devotional book that we follow for, dating couple, down the road married couple? Um, do we do like she reads? I know you're. Are you still doing the Genesis read through the Bible?
Yeah, I'm through Genesis. I'm now into Exodus.
So she's reading through the Bible. Okay, I'm doing the same thing. So maybe that could be our devotional. We just talk about some of the things we're reading on. Um, what was the third option? Oh, the God Ask.
Yeah.
We're both reading a book called The God Ask, and anyway, so but you mentioned that having some type of formal thing would be good to go through.
Yeah.
So
Yes. And especially if like depending on your personality, like some people need a little bit more of an outline, a guide. Some people may be able to freestyle it with more so and keep up with it. But um, I think for me, having something to turn to every day that kind of guides me is helpful.
yeah, so this is True Coffee Talk, by the way. We're out here early morning, coffee, got a little devotional book that we kind of completed and all. Um, what are you doing? Like what? Okay, let's go back to your Bible study. You were doing something else when I first met you. You weren't reading through the Bible. I think didn't you have some kind of?
Well, I have just a morning, short daily devotion that I read every single morning, depending on whatever date it is. I just go through each day's short little devotion. It's just a book that I have. So I do that. But I also listen. I've also started listening to my Bible app. Trying to listen. I'm listening to the Bible actually, which is how I get the most out of it.
You
By
like
listening
the
to it.
audio part of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it is kind of good because you're reading it or you're just listening to it, and you go back to your day, and it's kind of like, I mean, I don't know, are you an auditory learner? You
I
learn better
mean,
that way?
I think personally, yeah, I think I learn better by being able to stay busy and listen to it in my AirPods than to just sit and read words. I think it helps me. That's just how I learn, how I absorb it the most. So
What was the motivation for starting with Genesis and to go through it?
I just thought that I just feel like there's a lot of, even though like I've been a Christian for a long time and I was raised in church, there's a lot of things um, that I have either just never recognized throughout the years, never come across in the Bible. I feel like there's might be holes and gaps of things that I haven't, um, learned and recognized. And I think you could read through the Bible 50 times and learn something new every single
100%.
time. And so, and especially at different seasons of your life, whenever you're going through different things, I think God reveals different things to you. So,
Mm.
I just felt like it was a great time for me to start from the beginning and listen to the stories and listen to them in a different way in a different season of my life and see what God showed me.
Love that. Well, and I'm sure I've shared this with you before, but like I I read through the Bible way back about 20 years ago, and I'll have to show you my Bible sometime, but like it's the first time I literally ever read the Bible, and it took me like honestly 3 years to do it because it's hard. Like I just got up, flipped, I read. I didn't have any plan. This is pre-Bible app, and so where do you start? You start page one on Genesis. I started reading through, and it was kind of hard, especially some of the Torah, Leviticus, Deuteronomy, Numbers. Like it was a bit of a challenge, but I just kept doing it. It was almost like checking a box. I get about 2 years into it, and then I started getting to some places like, oh, this is pretty cool. So I've literally got some post-it notes I would put down in there, and then, but I get to the end, literally after a 2.5 year journey, get to the final page, and I'm like, what now?
Yeah.
Like, do I get a degree? Do I get a diploma? Something like that? Like, it was, and it's kind of like, it's a little uneventful. Well, I did that in 2005. Okay, flash forward about 13 years, I decided to do it again. And by this time, you've got the Bible app and you've got this chronological Bible study. And so it allows you to read the Bible through chronologically. And I just made a commitment for the first time ever, really. I'm just going to read through the Bible in a year. No deep dives, just like kind of what you're doing. And I'm just going to try to do this for the next 30 years of my life. And so I'm now, what is it? I think I'm now on my 6th time through. And wow, exactly what you said. I've read something I've read at least 6 times and be like, I never noticed that before. That's in the Bible.
Right.
So it is pretty cool and all. So how far will you take it?
Oh, I'm sure all the way to the
Going to the end.
Go
Going to the end. Okay.
All the way to Revelation.
So that means you're going to get through Leviticus.
I will get through Leviticus. I will.
Well, I think that's cool. So anyway, I think we're going to basically debate on, not debate, but discuss like what we're going to do as far as a devotional. But I think big picture, and one of the main motivations for this podcast was our goal was to do, no matter how short it was, a nightly devotional every night while we're dating. Hopefully, when we're married, we won't let life trip us up so much. And oh, we're too busy, honey. We'll do this again another evening. But to be kind of disciplined enough to do something. So we're gonna shop around for some type of dating devotional. But if you're dating, feel free to I don't know, post some suggestions. If you're married, then maybe this is a good chance for you and your spouse to do something and give us some feedback for what we could do down the road and all. But
if you're not in the habit, I mean, it would be great to get in the habit. Not only does it build your relationship with God, but it builds your relationship with each other, helps you to learn new things about each other, just gives you a new way to connect on the best level, the deepest level that a couple could possibly want to connect. So all you're going to do is benefit from it. So
very well said. And I'm going to go back. This is my thing with Jessica is this 1 Corinthians, what was it, 13, 4-7? Man, the love is patient, the love is kind, the selflessness, like that is the verse I try to remind myself around her. I'll just put this out there. We were talking yesterday in the truck. We've not had our first spat yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. I'm sure it's coming. Everybody tells me, oh, it's coming. Trust me. But I try to go back to this passage, 1 Corinthians 2, would you say 13, 4-7? And just kind of remind myself of that and all. So, okay. Well, we're about to be invaded by dogs. So it's about to get pretty loud here, but we wouldn't jump on here. So this is a happy Sunday to you guys. If you don't mind, rate us with a 5-star. We wouldn't ask you to lie, but you know what? If you kind of liked us, we sorry to embellish a little bit,
Right.
So anyway, think about a 5-star. And anyway, we will be back soon. Till then, take care.
Bye.